Hey, I'm Teryn. In this video, I'm going to talk about my experience living in Dallas, Texas. For background, I lived in Dallas for about 1 year and 3 months. I moved to the city for a job and I ended up quitting that job and moving back home to South Carolina. Affordability and cost of living is what drew me to look at Dallas for job opportunities. Now, don't get me wrong, Dallas can be a bit pricey, but compared to New York City and Los Angeles, fashion hubs that I was considering moving to, is a lot less. I worked in central downtown Dallas, and for me to be able to find an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment that was less than $1,300 and be so close to downtown to a lot of the popular areas in the city, I felt like that was a good deal. I lived in Deep Ellum, or Old East Dallas, and that's just east of downtown. I believe it's actually technically in downtown Dallas, but it's a nice little area that is full of restaurants, nightlife, and some cool like arts areas. There's so many different neighborhoods in Dallas. Just do your research, find someone to chat with that's from there or lives there, and just see like what their thoughts are, and just go visit for like a few days or a week if you can, and just kind of get to know the area before moving there. Another thing to do with affordability, Texas has no state tax, which is great. I'm starting a job in South Carolina, so I'm kind of seeing the differences in what my paycheck would be. For instance, although I'll be making more money at my job in South Carolina, I'm expecting that my paycheck, my take home from my paycheck, will be less than what I was taking home in Texas, just because of the no state tax. If my calculations are correct, I hope they aren't though, because I would love to take home more money. And then also, my car taxes in Texas were cheaper than they were in South Carolina. I moved to Dallas without knowing a single person, and a safety tip is to never tell anyone that. You always have a cousin, a college friend, a roommate, someone that is suspecting you to be there, someone that checks up on you. Don't ever tell someone that you're alone, you don't know anyone in the city. Like, no, stranger danger. For me, it was pretty easy to make friends. I'm an introvert and I'm also very shy, so it tends to not be the easiest for me to make friends, but I also at the same time have a knack for making friends. You probably heard of the app called Bumble, but that was really great for me to meet friends. You can set filters to find people close to your age and also with common interests or disinterests. Or you don't have to, and just make friends organically off the app, which is really nice. There's also this group on Facebook called Dallas Girl Gang, and a lot of people host meetups in there. Obviously not as much in a pandemic, but a lot of people will write a message and be like, hey, I want to try out this restaurant or this bar. Does anyone want to meet up? And so that was a way for them to kind of find friends as well in that outlet. And there's also Dallas Sites, which is this really cool website or blog, and they just post a bunch of events and things going on in the city. So that's great to follow as well. And then also there's an app called Meetup. And so again, you find people with common interests, you join the group and they schedule meetups. There's also the Connect Dallas, which I was a part of for a little bit prior to moving. It's a group or organization that's geared towards younger Black Dallasites, and they curate and host events as well for like a small fee. You have to pay like $6, and you can meet a lot of people there as well. I met a couple of friends from going to their events. Shortly after moving to Dallas, I joined Dallas Fort Worth Urban League Young Professionals, and that was also a great way for me to meet friends, meet people that kind of share common interests and goals with me. I joined specific committees geared towards what my interests were. Prior to joining, I just started by going to their events, and I would meet so many people and become friends with them just by going to those events. Dallas is full of transplants of all ages, all backgrounds, so it's easy to make friends that are similar to you, and it doesn't feel like you had to have grown up there in order to find your place and make friends. I can't speak to dating in Dallas. I know there's a lot of young singles that are from the city and also new to the city. As I mentioned before, Dallas has so many transplants. Those tend to be the people that are kind of playing the field. A lot of times if I met someone that was in a relationship or married, they came to Dallas already in that relationship or married. I had friends that dated a lot, but nothing serious ever really came out of it. But I did meet some people that developed serious relationships after living there for a while. So who knows? I think there's a lot of singles there, but I just don't know if they settle down. I will say that prior to me moving there, I never had someone respond to me saying, oh, I have a boyfriend, or I'm in a relationship with, do you cheat or are you faithful? That was so odd. I've never gotten that response before. Dallas has some pretty great restaurants without having to venture out to the greater area, but if you do, there are also some great gems. I don't know how accurate this is given the current state that we're living in, but Dallas has more restaurants per capita than New York City, but also DFW Airport is bigger than Manhattan. So yeah, Texas is huge. We'll get to that later. Dallas has plenty of things to do indoors, but not so much outdoors. Like, for instance, I feel like Dallas has a little bit of something for everyone. There's sporting events. Like, you have all the professional sports teams. You have hockey, football, basketball, baseball, all within that area. You have the WNBA, museums, Six Flags is in like Arlington, I believe. There's the zoo. There's always a nice concert going on, and there's always a really cool exhibit at whichever museum you wish to go to. I never realized how much I enjoyed being outside until I moved to Dallas and I saw that there weren't as many trees. It was kind of flat. There were really no hills. The trails that people recommend, like the Katy Trail, weren't even really trails to me. Fortunately, with Southwest Airlines and having American Airlines, having hubs there, you can get really great affordable flights to other major cities that are such a great deal. And you can also go to other Texan cities like Austin, Houston, San Antonio for an affordable price, just if you want to get away or do something a little bit more outdoors. Of course you can drive, but if you don't want to drive, especially if you're not like familiar with the area, you didn't grow up in Texas, it might be a little bit uncomfortable for you. You can always book a flight, and it's kind of more convenient. I mean, like, that's what Southwest was built on. And then also the close proximity to even California and Mexico if you want to get away to like the beach, or like even go to like the mountains somewhere. There's some really good deals for flights to the beaches in Mexico, or just like going to California. Or if you just want a quick vacation. I mentioned affordable flights to other cities in Texas because Texas is huge. It is so big, it is ridiculous. Everything is bigger in Texas, yeah. So driving long distances is gonna be an issue for you. You can always just book a cheap flight to wherever you wanna go. Personally, being from South Carolina, which is such a small state, you have such easy access to the beach, the mountain states parks, etc. So going from that to Dallas, where it's a trek to get to those types of places, it was just a lot. You can maybe do like a day trip to Austin if you want, but let's talk about the weather. When I first moved to Dallas, there were a lot of people coming from like Ohio, North Carolina that were moving, didn't think they would need a jacket. You absolutely need a jacket in Dallas. Dallas is considered North Texas. It's right down from Oklahoma. So the city is super windy. They're prone to tornadoes. When I was living there was actually a really bad tornado, or a few, that went through Dallas proper, which apparently was super rare. So the weather can get a little bit crazy. It hails there. So if you're looking for an apartment, look for one with a parking garage, or if you're looking for a house, look for one that has a garage, something covered just in case of hailstorms. A lot of people think Texas is gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot, but it's like more of a dry heat. I'm used to humidity. When you live there, a lot of people will complain about the humidity and that like it's an issue, but it's coming from the southeast coast. Like, there's no humidity in Dallas. It does not compare, but it's very windy. Your car will always look a little bit dusty. I don't know, that's just because of like the sand in the area, or even just like going down the interstates, the highways, and it's just always like super windy. So you'll definitely want to get your car washed more there. I definitely had to get my car washed a lot more when I was living in Dallas. Dallas is such a great place if you're looking for a job. There are a lot of major companies that either are headquartered in Dallas or have hubs in the city or the greater area. So that's really a great thing if you're looking for a job or in the market for a new job. They have companies like such as PwC, American Airlines, 7-Eleven, Southwest Airlines, PepsiCo, you can name it, EY, all those companies that you can find jobs for. But I will say if you work in like corporate fashion or corporate retail or anything kind of more related or pertaining to fashion, the pickings will be a little bit slim. There definitely are some options there, but I would just like to point out that if you want to work in the retail or fashion industry, it's not as big as a hub as Los Angeles or New York City, obviously, but that may run into an issue when you want to look for a new job, or if there's something gonna go wrong with the company that you are working for. So you definitely wanna keep networking, look out for the next opportunity. Diversity is a really interesting topic when it comes to Dallas. Like, usually when I ask how diverse the city is. I want to know, are there Black people? Dallas is pretty diverse. If you look at the numbers, I believe they're 25% Black. And I don't know if it's just because Dallas itself is so huge. Like there's the DFW area. So you have like Arlington, Pleasant Grove, Mesquite, Denton, Frisco, Plano, all of those cities that are cities within themselves. Like they can just stand alone, obviously. But coming from the deep South, like I'm born and raised in South Carolina. I did my college years in Georgia and a little bit in North Carolina. I would say like just the vibe and atmosphere is a little bit different when it comes to the Black community. And I don't really say that in like a negative light. It's just different. I know like people will compare like Dallas and Houston. I haven't spent time in Houston in order to make that comparison, but I know they say like even that is different. The city is so widespread that it's hard to see it as collective. Like collectively people do come together for events, like whether it's charitable, fundraising, or even just like fun social events. The people do come together, I will like say that. But I think all in all, like it's just different. Like you're not gonna find what you're looking for. Like if you like Atlanta and you like the atmosphere that's in Atlanta, you're not gonna like Dallas, but sometimes that's a plus for people. Like Charlotte is even gonna be like a little bit different, but it's just gonna be different. You just have to like find what you like and don't like and just like find your group of friends. South Dallas, Pleasant Grove, Oak Cliff, those are areas that have heavy populations of Black people compared to the other areas. And I would say that even Arlington, at least to me, seemed to have quite a bit of Black people in that area. Like if you're wondering like, am I gonna be able to find someone to do my hair, my nails, waxes, any of that, there's plenty of Black beauty professionals in the area. I'm gonna do a post on my website that's gonna be called The Black Girl's Guide to Dallas, and maybe request some like input into it as well, so people kind of have a way to know like where to go to get their nails done, their hair done, all that. Overall, I enjoyed my time in Dallas. I moved because I wasn't able to secure another job in the city that I wanted to do and that I could see myself like signing another lease to stay. I think it's like a cool place to live when you're young and just starting out professional wise. And then there's also a lot of people that move there and settle down because the houses are cheaper, especially coming from a place like Chicago or California. You'll meet a lot of people there moving from Chicago and California. Would I move there again? No, but I would like go visit and spend some time there. I just don't think the city itself was for me, even though I did enjoy it and I did like it. It was a nice city. It was a nice start to my professional career. That is my honest opinion of what it's like to live in Dallas. Of course, I didn't spend a whole lot of time there, but I spent enough time to kind of become at home there, if that makes sense. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, and comment for more content. Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments if you like living in Dallas. Are you considering moving there? If you have any questions, comment them below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much again.